In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NFL games happening on September 17, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NFL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. New York Jets versus Dallas Cowboys. On Sunday afternoon, the New York Jets and Dallas Cowboys meet at AT&T Stadium for an inter-conference clash in Week 2 of the NFL season. The Jets lost Aaron Rodgers for the season but gutted out a 22-16 win last weekend. The Cowboys obliterated the New York Giants 40-0 in primetime. This line is an overreaction to Dallas' beatdown of the Giants and Rodgers' injury. The season could not have begun any worse for the New York Jets, losing starting quarterback Aaron Rodgers for the season on the 4th play of the game last week. Zach Wilson replaced him just 3:45 into the game, finishing 14 of 21 for 140 yards, including a touchdown pass and an interception. He was not good last season, hence the reason why New York sought out Rodgers, but he will get the start on Sunday. Dallas faced minimal resistance last week as the Giants rolled over, but that will not happen against Robert Saleh's defense. The Jets have one of the best pass rushes and defenses in the league, and the Cowboys are also in the same boat. It's going to be about whichever offense makes the most mistakes. The Jets have a very good 1-2 punch right now with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook out of the backfield, which can give any defense problems. Hall himself looked very good in the opening game on Monday versus the Bills, providing a much-needed spark for the Jets' anemic offense. With Zach Wilson squaring off against an elite defense, the success of the Jets' ground game will be paramount. The Cowboys are coming off a very lopsided game where they blew out the Giants, and it started with an elite effort from their stout defense. The offense of the Cowboys didn't look too shabby last week either, even thought they struggled to get the passing game going at all. Therefore, we can expect the Jets to really focus on shutting down Tony Pollard and making Dak Prescott throw downfield. Wilson is also 5-0 in his career when Hall plays with him, so we expect New York to lean heavily on its successful run game. The New York defensive line is arguably the best in football. It will need to prove that this week, as Dallas will also look to establish the run with Pollard and set up quick strike passing opportunities for Prescott. I'm comfortable predicting that the Jets front will make this a challenge, as Cowboys right guard Zach Martin is dealing with a groin injury. Tackle Tyron Smith has been battling with an ankle injury, and left guard Tyler Smith has been limited with a hamstring injury. Without a reliable running game, Prescott's turnover issue could rear its ugly head against New York's talented secondary. New York will focus on clock management on Sunday, moving the football methodically with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook to take pressure off Wilson. The Jets' defense will still need to hold up its end of the bargain, though. As long as the Jets' defense isn't on the field too long on Sunday, I'm confident it can hold up against the Cowboys. I'm not saying the Cowboys don't win this game, but I think it's extremely easy to overreact to what we saw from Dallas in the opener. Sure, the Cowboys looked phenomenal, but the Jets have a never-say-die attitude under Robert Saleh, and the Jets showed some serious resolve without Rodgers, and I think Wilson with a week to prep can do enough to keep things close. I do not expect the Jets to win this one, but their elite defensive front will get after Dak and stop the run Sunday, keeping the game within striking distance. Zach Wilson will not generate much offense, but as long as the Jets limit any special teams or defensive touchdowns, they'll keep things close. Even with the Jets' new quarterback situation, I feel Cowboys are giving way too many points here. I'll take a shot with the Jets and the points, as I think New York can keep this a one-score game. So the New York Jets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Jets and Cowboys boast 2 of the best defensive units in the NFL. Although it is early in the year, both units were elite last season and made significant improvements. The Cowboys will have no problem shutting down Zach Wilson and the Jets' offense, but the Cowboys will encounter a lot more resistance after their 40-0 win last week. The total number has gone under in 8 of Dallas' last 10 games facing American Football Conference East clubs. Both of these teams have a very good pass rush and secondary, which should massively limit the opposing offenses. This should be a back and forth game with a lot of punting. The Jets are really going to focus a lot on the run game too, so I honestly expect the clock to really run down in this one. You will see a lot of both running backs, which should bleed a ton of clock and keep things moving. This should be an easy under in my opinion. Given the way that both of these teams played Week 1, expect for the defenses to steal the show in this matchup. Over their last 6 meetings, neither club has averaged more than 22 points per game. The defense will be on display once again, and although I expect Wilson to struggle, Dak will not put up glamorous numbers either. This game will feature 2 of the better defenses in the NFL, and this should lead to a low-scoring battle. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Washington Commanders versus Denver Broncos. These franchises don't cross paths often, but they will this weekend. The Washington Commanders, under new ownership, will breathe air that's a bit thinner than they're used to on Sunday. A trip to Empower Field at Mile High will put their lungs to the test. Of course, the Denver Broncos are much more accustomed to the conditions in Colorado. Neither team won against the spread last week, while each of their games finished under the total. Sean Payton will look to get his first win as head coach of the Denver Broncos against the Washington Commanders in Week 2. Washington picked up a victory against Arizona in Week 1, but I was hardly impressed. The Commanders barely managed to squeak past a Cardinals team that is starting Josh Dobbs at quarterback and appears to be blatantly tanking. They trailed much of the way against Arizona, and quarterback Sam Howell looked pretty lost for most of the afternoon. Now Howell is going on the road for the first time in his career to face a much tougher defense. Howell took 6 sacks last week, and he's going to be in an environment that's a lot more chaotic this week. Denver lost in disappointing fashion last Sunday, but I don't actually think the Broncos played that badly. Quarterback Russell Wilson looked a lot better than I expected him to. And the Broncos lost by just a single point simply because the Raiders played a pretty good game. Wilson played a pretty clean game, and that's all he'll need to do here. Running back Javon Williams showed flashes of brilliance against Las Vegas in his first game back from a torn ACL, and he should continue to get better. Cardinals running back James Conner had some success against Washington on the ground, and Williams is a lot more elusive than he is. It also looks like Jerry Jeudy is going to make his return to the lineup after missing Week 1, which is a massive boost to Denver's offense. The Broncos have been embarrassing in American Football Conference West play over the last 4 seasons. They have lost 7 in a row to the Raiders and 15 in a row to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. They have the Commanders here and face rookie quarterback Sam Howell playing his first game in Mile High Stadium. Sam Howell had a shaky start in his new role as the Commanders' starting quarterback, going 19 of 31 for 202 yards with a 7-yard touchdown pass to Brian Robinson Jr. and an interception. He also had a fumble, and the Broncos' defensive front can cause problems. Russell Wilson looked rejuvenated, and although they were clipped by the Raiders, that had more to do with a multitude of special teams errors. Sean Payton will clean that up, and Willets will bounce back with a better effort, and the Broncos will improve to 1-1 with a win and cover at home. So the Denver Broncos to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. These teams are built very similarly, which should make this an easy call. Washington's strength is a defense that finished 7th in scoring last season and only allowed 9 points last week. Denver's strength is also defense, a group that finished 14th a year ago and just held a solid offense to 17 on the road. Denver has a strong run defense that just held the Raiders to 2.1 yards per carry. For reference, Vegas running back Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing last season. Washington had the 4th most rush attempts last year and is expected to operate similarly on offense in 2023. The Commanders are solid in every way on defense, going up against an offense that was last in scoring a year ago. Denver did nothing to dispel the notion they couldn't score last week, only mustering 16 points against a below-average defense. This week won't be any easier. There is still a lot to learn about how Sam Howell will perform in his rookie year under center. They will slowly ease the reins on the kid, but look for them to continue pounding the rock. Brian Robinson led the team with 19 carries but only generated 59 yards. He will have more success in this second game, but that may have to come in the passing game, as Denver is stingy against the run. They only gave up 48 yards on 19 carries to Josh Jacobs last week, but Jacoby Meyers torched them in the slot, bringing in 9 catches on 10 targets. That may be the sweet spot for the Commanders' offense in this one, but both defenses will suffocate the run game. Howell is tough to trust this early. Russell Wilson played a clean game for the Broncos and didn't make any mistakes, but that's because he was very conservative. Wilson averaged only 5.2 yards per pass attempt, and Denver's leading receiver was Samaje Perine, a running back. The Commanders struggled to block last week against Arizona as Sam Howell took 6 sacks. Considering this will be the first road start for the young quarterback, I'd expect Washington to want to ease him in and run it as much as possible. I wouldn't expect them to have very much success with those runs, however, as the Broncos gave up only 2.1 yards per carry to a rushing attack led by Josh Jacobs last week. Neither Howell nor Wilson has a very high ceiling at the moment, and I don't see too many opportunities for explosive plays. This one has punt fest written all over it. Don't check for score changes frequently for this battle. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Miami Dolphins versus New England Patriots. American Football Conference East rivals are battling early on Sunday Night Football in front of Foxborough's faithful fans. The Miami Dolphins are taking their annual trip north to face the New England Patriots in Week 2. The home team has won 5 of the last 6 meetings between these rivals. Does that bode well for the Patriots in Gillette Stadium? That'll be the question when this game kicks off. A division win is at stake already, so let's see who will walk away with one. We have an American Football Conference East divisional game here on Sunday Night Football between the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. The Patriots' defense should have their hands full this week after what we saw Miami do in Week 1. The Dolphins had the most passing yards last week against the Chargers, and the offense looked unstoppable with Tua Tagovailoa under center. Tyreek Hill and Tua connected on 11 passes, with Hill putting up an insane 215 receiving yards. Let's not forget that the Dolphins also have Jalen Waddle on the other side, who can make big plays for Tua at any moment as well. The Dolphins' offensive line looked great, protecting Tua and preventing him from getting hit, which was no easy task against Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. If Miami can come out with the same intensity on offense as they showed last week, the Patriots should stand no chance on defense. New England had a rough game last week against the Eagles, and they were playing catch-up virtually from the start of the game. Mac Jones ended the game with 316 yards on 54 passing attempts in an attempt to come back and win. Things will not get any easier for the Patriots this week against the Dolphins. Ultimately, New England needs more playmakers on offense and to establish a good running game if they want to keep up with their divisional opponent. Ezekiel Elliott needs to get more carries in order to open up the play-action pass for Jones. Miami has won 5 straight against the spread versus the Patriots, including covering in their late-season matchup at Gillette. The Dolphins have won their previous 4 games against the spread overall, which includes a victory against the Los Angeles Chargers on the road in Week 1. They have also won their last 4 games against the spread on the road. New England has lost 5 straight games against the spread and 7 of their previous 8. They have also lost 5 straight games at home against the spread, several of which were to fellow American Football Conference East teams. Patriots' opponents have scored at least 20 points in each of the last 4 games played at Gillette. The Dolphins had an elite offense in 2022, and they were no signs their efficiency is slowly down in the new year. Miami ranked 8th in the league in yards per game last season, and they are currently ranked 1st, having gained over 500 total yards in Week 1, while the Patriots' defense was ranked in the top 10 in the league in average yards allowed per game. They have struggled against Miami recently, giving up 333 yards to backup quarterback Teddy Bridgewater and the rest of the Dolphins' offense in their previous matchup. The Dolphins have scored 20 or more points in 4 of the previous 5 matchups with the Patriots, while New England has averaged only 16 against Miami's defense in their last 5 games. The Patriots as home dogs is appealing, as they're still a tough club defensively, and they haven't started a season 0-2 since 2001. The first Shrek was in theaters the last time the Pats started a season 0-2. With that said, I'm still not a believer in Mac Jones being a reliable quarterback, and the running game didn't do much against the Eagles. The Dolphins are scary explosive offensively, and the defense should make strides the more comfortable they get under defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. We also have the fact Tua is 4-0 in his career against the Patriots, and this season may be the best version we've seen of the Miami quarterback, as he's an early betting favorite for MVP at some books. I'd need an extra point or 2 to consider the Pats. Under a field goal, give me the Dolphins for a rare 2-0 start. Overall, I think that this line is way off, and I believe the Dolphins should be favored by at least 5 points. So the Miami Dolphins to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. 2 of the last 3 games played between these two squads went over the point total, including their most recent matchup, which was played at Gillette towards at the end of the 2022 season. The Dolphins have gone over the point total in 3 of their previous 4 games overall, including their game in Week 1 versus the Los Angeles Chargers that saw 70 points scored in total. The Dolphins have scored a minimum of 21 points in their last 3 matchups on the road. Their defense has allowed 21 points or more in every road game since the onset of the 2022 season. The Patriots have gone over the point total in 4 of their last 5 games overall and 2 of the last 3 played in Foxborough. The Dolphins had an elite offense last season, ranking 8th overall in average yards per game with 357.1. They ranked 5th in the league in average points per game on the road with 25.5 and picked up where they left off in their first game of the new season, scoring 36 points in Los Angeles against the Chargers. The Patriots ranked in the top half of the league during the 2022 season in average points scored per game and ranked 5th in the league in average yards per game. The Dolphins are one of the scariest teams in the league through the air with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. With Hill's speed, this Dolphins offense can score from anywhere on the field, and I expect them to come out hot again on Sunday and score on the Patriots fast and often. Similar to last week, I believe the Patriots will be playing catch-up once again, and that will force Mac Jones to throw the ball more than expected. New England could be in a lot of high-scoring games this season due to them falling behind, similar to what we saw with Jared Goff and the Lions a couple of seasons ago. Don't be surprised if Tua throws for 3 more touchdowns and Mac Jones has a few passes make it into the end zone himself. Miami has put up at least 20 points against the Patriots in both meetings since acquiring Tyreek Hill. With all of their speed, it'll be nearly impossible to stop this team, which was 11th in scoring last year, from doing it again. After all, they just put up 36 on the road to begin their season. The Dolphins probably might even top 30, and the 20-point mark will for sure be exceeded again. As for New England, taking on this weak Dolphins defense will allow them to score at least 20 like they did last week. The Dolphins got gashed on the ground, which only adds to a pass defense that was awful last season and bad in Week 1. The Patriots aren't offensive powerhouses, but the Dolphins may be one of the worst defenses in the league if they struggle against the run too. Compared to Philadelphia last week, Miami should be a breeze for the Pats. Expect both sides to score at least 21, with an extra score or 2 sneaking this game past the total. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.